So thanks so much for joining our webinar series, DLT and Blockchain in the Real World. This is probably like our 10th or 15th webinar that we've done in this series. It's become very popular. We created it to highlight how Hedera Hashgraph is being used in production with new and existing applications that have real users and they're solving real world problems. In our past webinars, we've learned about a variety of companies across different industries such as healthcare, agriculture, advertising, and more. And most of those use cases were evolving around solving data integrity problems. You can check out all of those past webinars on our YouTube channel. And in today's webinar and of most recent webinars that we've been doing for this series, we've been learning about more tokenization use cases, which we're going to learn about today. So we're going to be learning about how the company, The BreakØuts, has been using Hedera Hashgraph for tokenization of NFTs. And they're an omni-channel NFT platform. So we've got Kevin Reese, CEO, who's going to dive into some of the technical challenges that companies face when issuing non-fungible tokens and some of the business use cases. Will Esclusa is going to be diving into why Hedera Hashgraph was chosen as their DLT of choice and explain their architecture with the Hedera Token Service. And then Caitlin Esclusa is the SVP of Product Strategy, and she's going to dive into the future of the BreakØuts platform and two upcoming Hedera improvement proposals, which is going to pave the way for certain functionalities for NFTs on the platform. We'll leave some time at the end of the webinar for Q&A, so please be sure to drop your questions into the specific Q&A box on the bottom, not the chat box. And we expect today's webinar to be around 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how many questions we get. And with that, we'll get started, and I'm going to pass things off to Kevin Reese to kick us off.
Thanks, Brady. Appreciate that. It's a pleasure to be here with you today and sharing a little bit of the story of the BreakØuts. A little bit of background is that when we, most of us have an experience in omni-channel enterprise applications, working with global brands, global retailers, and we also have backgrounds with blockchain technology. When we were looking at the marketplace and the landscape, what we had found was that many companies who were playing in the NFT space were really about their own brand and building a marketplace, if you will, into helping artists and others consume NFTs and drive that interaction. What we were discovering is that as a fan, as a consumer, as a collector, it was a really difficult process. So as you know, blockchain experts, technology experts, and collectors ourselves, we formed the BreakØuts and looked to disrupt the status quo of what was happening in the marketplace and tried to bring familiar technologies forward from our experiences in working in omni-channel as well. Just a quick background and introduction. So Will, Caitlin, and I have experiences in marketing technologies, in e-commerce technologies, mobile technologies, as well as supply chain and fulfillment technologies from companies like SAP, IBM, et cetera. And what that's allowed us to do is take a different perspective on the marketplace and bring those familiar technologies to bear. As blockchain started to become more pervasive, we felt, along with our team, that there was an opportunity to use blockchain, tokenization, and the immutability security that comes with these technologies to help drive differentiated experiences for creators and allow them to create better interactions, build their own brand, if you will, and not just make it around the NFT, but make it around the way that you can engage with your audience. So Caitlin, Will, and I brought these experiences to the table. Will has deep domain expertise and experience in running retail organizations from a marketing and an e-commerce standpoint. Kate, and obviously has a development background as our CTO. Caitlin has a strong background running product strategy, also interacting with the engineering teams, driving QA processes, and also working with our customers. She's actually our SVP of product and manages the onboarding process, which we've automated to take assets and content and copy from our customers and take what we call the art of the possible and the science of the probable together. And bring these experiences to life. We're going to demonstrate some of that for you today so that you can see and feel and interact with some of these use cases. So what we've done is we've taken our experiences and working with those brands and retailers, familiar technologies that as consumers we understand, and we believe that we've enabled a number of different use cases with leading musicians, with leading artists, with galleries, with sports companies, to focus on their experience as an athlete, as an artist. And we think that's been one of the big differentiators. One thing that's nice for us is that as we've moved forward through these segments of musicians, artists, athletes, authors, brands, it's allowed us to enable a number of different use cases that most people aren't familiar with in the NFT space. And so what's nice about that is today you may go to some of the marketplaces a la Nifty Gateway or Foundation app, and there are points of friction in the process, searching for an artist, looking for the actual NFT that you want to find. You know, it's a list of each individual minted, numbered NFT, and the experience is not optimized. It's not like if you went to a traditional e-commerce site and you can look at style, size, color as an example. So the interaction that we can bring to the table around searching, browsing, the merchandising, and what we call the searchandising aspect allows our customers to build those more familiar experiences and interactions with the collectors, the fans, the consumers that they're working with. We then looked at, how we can take familiar and traditional approaches and use blockchain, use the scalability, the performance, the sustainability that Hedera brings to us, and create those new use cases and experiences around music. How do I leverage music as an NFT? How do I take videos as an NFT and allow you as a customer, as a collector, to own those as assets, to have the artist have an understanding of where their IP is, whether or not it's been sold, and participate through the value chain, if you will, which is what blockchain brings, of those experiences. We then experimented, and this is where it gets really exciting for us, is we've experimented with beyond just a simple NFT into trading cards, into using an NFT as a ticket for an event, and bringing connection between the NFT from an event ticket into a way to connect and add value to experiences, add value to the customers who are participating with you in those experiences at a physical event. It could be something as simple as finding specific attributes and characteristics about your customer to offer a promotion while they're there. It may be a way to remessage and target them post-event and drive incremental connections and an ability to drive actions with your customer base. It's also something that we've done around using it for value-added services around the experience in and of itself. I'll share with you one of the bands that we're working with is going on tour, and they have an opportunity to share, and we're actually going to demonstrate this with you today, share a QR code at various points throughout the venue. They may put it up on the screen, and that allows people who are likely on their phones anyways today at concerts, let's be honest, to simply scan the QR code and access an NFT of their music, of that concert, of a show poster. The art of the possible, the science of the possible or the probable is what we're bringing to bear for our customers. So it's a really exciting time for us where we can see how we can interact through the familiar touch points, whether it's a website, through Instagram, through marketplaces, as a musician, as an athlete, to have multiple touch points, an omni-channel experience, which we've done. One of the other things that's interesting that I think is part of our use case is the ability to allow people to remove the points of friction around the wallet. If you've ever bought an NFT on some of the traditional marketplaces, trying to get that to connect to your wallet and see that you own the NFT, be able to participate with that, has been quite difficult, at least in my personal experience and probably experiences of others. So what we've done is we've leveraged familiar wallet technologies and allowed customers who purchase NFTs, who have bought an event ticket, to actually have that in your Apple Wallet, as an example. So it allows lower points of friction. It brings a really easy way for people to be familiar. Most of us have traveled pre-pandemic, I get that. Most of us maybe have not traveled in the last year and a half. But pre-pandemic, it was very common for airlines, as an example, to send you your boarding pass through your wallet, your Apple Wallet, your Google Wallet, et cetera. So that's allowed us to do some really interesting things as well. And maybe the last use case I'll touch on is an upcoming event that we're doing with an athlete named Tai Young. She's a professional basketball player from the the WNBA. And what we're doing there is leveraging NFC technology with the Hedera Token Service to validate ownership of this item. And as it goes through the auction, we're looking to explore some interesting nuances and use cases that bring Tai closer to her community, to her fans, to her followers, but also to drive that incremental value that that token, that item will have through the life cycle. Imagine, if you will, that Tai will have an ability to interact with the winner of that particular shoe. And if that collector sold the shoe, there's now a downstream effect of that personalization and ability to offer what we keep calling the value add experience to the collectors and the consumers. So hopefully that gave you I was able to whet your appetite on a few of the use cases, the ways that we're looking at disrupting this marketplace and help our customers build their brands and build their fan communities. What I'd love to do now is turn it over to Will. Will Esclusa is our CTO, and he's going to share with you a few ways that we've done this in a specific use case with Set Free Richardson, who owns a gallery in New York called The Compound, and a show that we did for him with a number of artists as well. Will, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Kevin, and good morning, good evening, and good afternoon for everybody. Like Kevin said, right? You know, one of the biggest issues that we were trying to solve is, listen, let me. I'm a Florida Gator. I'm born. That's where I learned football. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I was introduced to football in Florida. So the way that imagine if I was a Florida Gator and I had to put a Florida Gator thing next to an FSU, Seminole, anything in a marketplace, right? That really. It really didn't jive to what the experiences that we were trying to drive. And what I mean by that is, you know, when Set Free and the Compound came to us, they had a specific scenario that they wanted to do, right? They out of the culture, they wanted to be able to put a message together and be able to extend that over to their community. So it really didn't make sense to kind of, you know, let that message be diluted into perhaps one of these marketplaces that didn't allow them to kind of put their message forward, right? So when they came to us, right, we kind of took those requirements from our customer and kind of look at how could we perhaps perfect that user experience. And what we came about is the Compound Gallery, right? Which I will show you in a second, but it's an ability for their customers to be able to navigate and have an experience that's almost as if they were walking through an actually art gallery and be able to interact, be able to kind of have a story be told as they kind of walk through the whole experiences. One Easter egg that we have for you guys, right, is if you see this QR code, like Kevin was saying, we're really kind of trying to bring common technology to bear. So you see this QR code. If you are able to scan it with your phone, it'll take you to the Compound site, and you will see that there is NFT poster that we have been marketing with this coupon code HBAR $. You will be able to get a discount. It will be $1 for everybody that wants to purchase it and kind of have the experience and be able to walk through that experience on your own and see what is it that we have built for our customers. So again, our goal was to be able to marry the experience, be able to marry a message, and then be able to then extend that and create communities as we went through it. And we were able to do that, right? As you can see, you know, some of the some of the feedback that we got as we continue to perfect and kind of go through this journey with our customers and our customers' customers, it has been well received, right? It's been a breath of fresh air. And quite frankly, one of the things that we were trying to solve was, it felt like we were going backwards to go forward. And what I mean by that is, I think we forgot about some of the common components that are in your normal user experiences today, like being able to search, being able to merchandise, being able to cross-market. SEO is a big thing, right? So how do we take those components that we have learned and perfected over many years and then apply it into this technology? So that was the construct of the platform that we have built at the breakouts for us to be able to extend that to our customers. And again, it's been well received. With that said, let me switch gears real quick. What I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to walk you through some of these experiences and kind of then highlight from a visual perspective, what is it that we're kind of putting together, and then we're going to look under the hood and kind of explain to you guys how we've kind of architected the whole platform together to be able to extend this to you guys, right? So what we're looking at today is the compound site, and as you can see, right, this is a very curated user experience where we have a set of 7 different artists that each artist has their own art that they wanted to be able to communicate. Some of them have music, some of them are just stills, some of them have very unique stories that want to be told, right? So again, we're not sacrificing that user experience. There is things like, being able to join the community. There is a search capability, right? So as we kind of click into one of these specific arts, right, what we really also wanted to do was also be able to tell a little bit more about the artist, what story, what background, made him create or kind of prompted them to create this specific piece, right? Also, you want to be able to highlight the fact that we are running with Hedera. That's a sustainable hyperledger technology, right? So we wanted to, with all the backlash that has been happening in the market today, we also wanted to be able to highlight that, and then be able to interact, is create some experiences, be able to share it in your social channels, like you would normally do on any given website. We've also then included some of the cool things that these experiences have been able to do. So for example, being able to look at the token itself, be able to see who owns it, when they bought it, and all that history that comes in perpetuity with the blockchain. We also enable that through the website and through our platform. One of the things that we first noticed when we got into the space was that you needed to have a wallet, to have a secondary wallet, to then have to do an atomic swap, to stand in one leg and figure out where the air was going, right? To be able to do a purchase. So what we have done is created a set of technology that actually abstract that from the customer. And we've applied the 20, 15 years that we've had in this space to can then follow the security and regulations around that. So we then we then enable our customers to be able to pay with fiat, right? Common things like Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards. We've abstracted that complexity out of the process, and then being able to then open the aperture for other folks that are not so aware of how this ecosystem works, and be able to kind of get, tease and be able to get their toes wet and figure out how to own an NFT and see what experience was like, right? So this is at a high level, right? So the other thing that we have enabled for our customers, if I go into the actual, I'm logged in as Caitlin at this moment. So once you actually make a purchase, right, the concept of reselling, the concept of being able to see an NFT, right, that we needed to kind of give it a face, right? So what we have done is then created a personal gallery within this ecosystem. So then you can interact with your NFTs. There's certain functionality that you probably that we wanted to enable for our customers as they became more autonomous within this ecosystem, right, within this special community. So things like if I look in my gallery, you can see the statuses, right? So as the NFT goes through the minting process, right, the customers will get an alert and understand where and how the NFT is being processed. So we're giving visibility into that. And if I click into one of these orders, then you will see that you can access your NFT. So the moment that I click that, it actually goes into a vaulting mechanism. So only you will be able to download that. we've enabled proprietary IP that actually matches your email address into a Hedera account, and then ultimately unlocks that for the customer. So one of the cool things that we have been able to do is be able to match that hash into these two ecosystems that allows it, if they match, then therefore you have access to this. So then we unlock those. And then things like being able to do a resell, right? If I click on that button, what it will do is actually send me into this.
Well,
and I won't.
if you don't mind, can you just go back there, because there was something I wanted to call out that we didn't talk about. So this is a new feature that was enabled. Caitlin actually brought this to life. Is a number of our customers were concerned about the carbon footprint. And so what we've been able to do is also drive calculations around the energy savings that Hedera brings to us. And quite honestly, it's not even for us as the breakouts, it's really for the creators who were facing friction. So it's a nice little call out as well that you may see as an opportunity that we bring to the table from what Hedera allows us to differentiate. Thank you, Will. Apologies for interrupting.
No, thank you, Kevin. So like, last but not least, right, being able to start a resale process. I won't take you through the whole process, but ultimately we still use that proprietary IP that allows you to match that order to that hash, to that email address, to the Hedera account, and then restart the process, right? Grant, these are processes that we continue to enhance and continue to augment, right? But we do have those capabilities enabled. One of our other customers, right, is MoneyMark, right? So as you saw, the compound is a conglomerate of 7 artists that have, each one has their own different story. But what happens if, you know, we have an artist like MoneyMark, which is the keyboardist of the Beastie Boys? You know, he wanted to have different interactions with his customer, things from being able to buy merchandise, which is an actual physical product, right? And then an NFT. So problem for us to solve: how do we mix a card? How do we deal with a mixed card, something that is physical and it's digital? So we were able to unlock those capabilities. And even from the concept of music. So if I click into the music site of MoneyMark, right, here's where we're using the Hedera Consensus Service. So anytime that somebody plays this song, it actually does do a check within the Hedera Consensus Service, and it actually does provide the capability of us being able to understand how and when these songs are being played, and very soon we will be able to do even micropayments associated with this, right? And then last but not least, and we also have a customer that is called Skybox. That it's a locker room for different athletes, right? Kevin was mentioning Tai Young. She will be part of this ecosystem. So what I really wanted to show here is that we've also enabled things above and beyond, right? So as I log into the website, I am an administrator of the website, right? So now you will see that I have an analytics tab in here. So the moment that I click on analytics, what is happening is we're extracting some of the normal web analytics that normally would be driven by any website. Then we're tying that into the blockchain technology, and then we're able to then learn and understand as we go as how the behavior of our customers is happening. And furthermore, how do we best fine tune these experiences so we can continue to resonate with our customer? This is very important. We wanted to have a self-learning mechanism that allows us to then become a better version of ourselves as we kind of walk through some of these use cases. So that said, how is this all put together? Let's kind of go into some of the techie stuff, if I may. I think we're all familiar with anybody that has been in this ecosystem for some time. They're all familiar with Alice, Bob, and these walkthroughs as to how the technology started. And quite frankly, that's exactly how we started when we first joined this journey. And really what happened was we looked at, this is a process, this is how we're going to do it, this is how we action on this process, but there are some things missing, you guys, right? So how do we then best complement this fantastic platform that we have in Hedera, this fantastic use cases, this fantastic artist, and kind of build an ecosystem of tools around it that allows us to then continue to, again, become a better version of ourselves. So this is where we are today, right? Our platform kind of sits in the middle, and that process that you saw, right? That was the starting point that actually allowed us to create what we have today. So what we have done is enable a set of macro services. And what I mean by that is normally an API will allow you to, get an account or be able to understand where the token is or get the history of the token, right? So what we have done is wrap that around proprietary IP that actually makes it consumable. So then you can start using that type of information within other ecosystems as well. And what we learned as we went through that process is that there's, we have customers in different levels of sophistication. Sometimes they don't even want to know what an API is, right? So how do we enable that within our customers? Then we created connectors on top of that. So then it's just a plug and play type of technology. Now, there's some fantastic things that happen in these ecosystem, like being able to have a decentralized dev toolkit, being able to have vault, decentralized storage, security, and so on and so forth. So we've kind of mashed all that together. So the moment that you want to ask for, let me give you an example. The moment that you want to ask for an ID, right? We're probably going to be calling 3 or 4 different sub systems within our platform, and some of those connectors along the way that allows you to then give you a result. So if you have an email address and you want to be able to match it into a Hedera account that has access to these 5 NFTs, so that's how we kind of orchestrate the whole services layer. A big part of what we do, right? It is based on the Hedera Token Service. That is what gives us the scalability, right? 10,000. We all know the stats, right? Being able to do 10,000 transactions, being able to energy sustainability around it that takes less than a Visa transaction to be able to place that to mint those tokens, right? That is a big component of what we are of our platform. The consensus service, we're starting to work on that today, right? That is part of the NFC side of the house and whatnot. But we're kind of bringing those two ecosystems together. As you saw, we do have an analytics engine, and then we're also working on an interchange layer right now that allows us to then perhaps talk in different languages as we meaning different technologies in the back end that traditionally wouldn't be talking to a blockchain, right? So the whole concept of an omni-channel platform that we have built is really to be able to drive different interactions at any given point with the scalability, with the sustainability that Hedera kind of brings, that Hedera brings to the table. So with that said, Mr. Reese, can I just turn it back to you?
Absolutely. I think what we'll do is there have been a few questions in the Q&A, so we'll address some of those. But just before we get there, first of all, I would like to thank everybody for participating, listening in, whether it's live today or on the replay from around the world. Shameless plug, we're hiring. We believe that we've got some incredible innovation. We've got an incredible engineering team. We think that we're onto something really interesting, and we just can't keep up with all the demands. So if you're interested, please reach out to us as well. Follow us on Instagram. Check us out on Twitter. We're trying to be fairly present in the social media realm as well. There were a few questions that came in. If you don't mind, Caitlin, would you mind fielding those and kind of directing them appropriately?
Sure. There was a question about maybe go a little bit more in detail, Will, if you can, about what the journey is like, where we've made the NFT searchable, or like the merchandising aspect to it. So I know you kind of like jumped right in with the compound one. I don't want to make you bring the site back up, but if you can kind of like talk about some of the inspiration there.
Yeah, so there's a set of attribution that goes along with an NFT. So what we have to maybe help visualize what we have done with the actual NFT itself. Normally, if you go to any retailer today, a shirt has what we call the CAN entry. So ultimately a shirt has a number. And then if you have a medium shirt that is blue, then we turn that into a SKU, right? So we've done this, we've applied the same concept to an NFT, right? The NFT itself, if it's going to be music, if it's going to be mixed, that has a set of attributes that go along with it. And then as we actually mint it specifically for a customer, then that becomes the SKU. So what we have done is gather all that attribution, right? Then surface it up in being able to then apply a Elasticsearch on top of that. So then all those attributes then become part of that search index that allows you to then be able to drill down or create those user experiences within the web version itself. Does that help? Kate?
Great.
Awesome. Okay, another really interesting question that came up was, Is buying or obtaining the ownership of the NFT the only way to support its creator? Are there other ways to incentivize supporters to participate in the value development of the tokens? And so I think we sort of danced around this when we talked about Skybox and the athletes, but if maybe Kevin, do you want to kind of give a little further perspective on what we've seen as possible there and what the intent is?
Yeah, I mean, first, let's open the aperture and go back out to the macro view. In terms of supporting its creators, I think that's one of the reasons we've been so successful to date is we don't think of it solely as blockchain, NFT, social tokens. So number one is we think about the experience that you're going to have as a supporter, as a follower with that particular brand, with that athlete, with the musician. So going on tours, collecting music, buying merch, as Will mentioned, is, and just even following them and being part of the mailing lists are things that we are, helping to activate within the community. It was surprising how many artists, photographers, musicians are out there that, they're great at musicians, they're great at being artists. They are not savants in the technology space. They may not be savants in business, and they're looking for help in doing that. So number one, I would say, just open the aperture. That's one of the things that we try and think about in this omni-channel world is an not an or when it comes to blockchain and NFT. The second thing is that I think that we're really just at the tip of the surface of NFTs, and even the NFT name itself sometimes carries connotation and sometimes negativity as it's tied to cryptocurrency and the fluctuations that are happening in cryptocurrency. But the ability to create tokens, social tokens, athlete tokens, and value associated to the brands, to the artist, to the athlete. Imagine, if you will, in a new world where that is part of the stock market, perhaps. You're actually investing in that person, and as an athlete, the value goes up or down based on performance, based on other characteristics of how you drive the value of that particular social token. I'm not sure that anybody has the right answer for that right now. I think that, like I mentioned, we're still at the tip of where this space will be taking us. We do have a set of design points and plans that Caitlin drives for us around where we should be taking the product, where we should be taking the functionality. And I believe that we have first mover advantage in a number of those that you'll see actually next month come to market. So stay tuned for a little bit more on that without giving away too many of our secrets.
Love that. So there were a couple people who actually asked where, in a couple different ways, where can I go for help in creating an NFT in the first place? And then how can I go about, minting my NFTs for an upcoming auction? Do you guys kind of want to briefly touch on how we usually engage with people, where like we're a great fit for helping, where we can help you kind of find the best fit?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Opinions are maybe akin to noses. Everyone has one. So we have a point of view. We have a perspective on how we can help people. I think there's a plethora of information out there on what is an NFT, where do I start? Where we focus on is if you really want to engage on building your brand, like you saw with Mark Nishida, the keyboardist from the Beastie Boys, and build your digital presence. If you already have a digital presence and you simply want to expand on NFTs, that's really where we're focusing. We are not trying to build the breakouts as the next foundation, the next nifty gateway. We're not interested in being the marketplace. We're trying to help, really drive those experiences. So the one thing I would say is reach out to us. We didn't put this on the slide. Maybe a lesson learned for me is we also have a email, info@thebreakouts. We engage with people, try to help them out. There's a plethora of information just by Googling NFT. There's different blockchain technologies. There's different routes to market that you can take. There's no right or wrong one. It's what's right for you. We selected our approach and Hedera because of the fact that, when you're in this space, you need scalability, in our opinion. Being able to process 10,000 transactions per second is akin to the real world of how you interact with any retailer or brand. We needed to ensure that we had a sustainability story. We needed to make sure that we had security and can leverage blockchain 3.0 technologies like Hedera and the consensus service and the Hashgraph. So where you start, I think there's a number of opportunities. We're here to help too. We've got a team of people that are interacting with people all the time. I hope that addressed the answer eloquently, or addressed the question eloquently.
The one thing I'll add though, Kevin, and I think I would love to double click on that, is that up to now, what we have seen the trend is, the crypto and NFT go tied together, right? Our analytics show today that that trend is really changing, right? We're at the crossroad of being able to, the value of the actual item or the value of the experience is really not tied back to the crypto itself like it traditionally has been, right? I think that the value that Hedera brings with it, when the main reason why we chose Hedera was exactly because of all the capabilities that offer around that. And really what we are seeing to the question itself, right? If you want to be able to, if you're thinking about going into market and being able to release your NFTs and all that kind of great stuff, let's have a conversation. I would welcome the conversation. We would love the conversation as to where you want to be, right? We continually improve and we continually try to bring in new technology and strategy, right, to the table. But there is certainly a shift, right, that we are seeing in the market today, that we would love to kind of have a conversation, understand where you want to be. And I tell my team all the time, right, whatever we do, let's not architect ourselves into a corner. And let's make sure that we have different on and off ramps. I would, that would be the conversation that I would like to have with folks that are, thinking about this space, right? And where's your on ramp, where's your off ramp? And let's make sure that we put that together for you or help you.
If you don't mind, I'll just jump in with, I'm seeing a number of questions as to kind of how we create an omni-channel, how we actually drive globally. One of the things, and maybe it sounds disenfranchising, but we really like to think of ourselves as the widget, the platform, if you will, that enables this. So we've plugged into a number of e-commerce technologies, from Shopify to enterprise software, that whether it's commerce engines from SAP, from other places, Salesforce, as well as just some content management solutions. So the ability to drive internationalization, while we're not an agency and we don't have the we prefer not to be an e-commerce technology, we are very versed in helping our customers bring that to life. We can bring agency resources to the table and facilitate, how you would enable NFTs through any type of digital touch point, mobile, e-commerce, into other marketplaces. We're doing that as well, and bring new capabilities and functionality to the experience. Hopefully that answered a few of the questions around internationalization. I think I saw someone saying they wanted to create a marketplace. Once you have your look, your feel, your brand, your wireframes, it's fairly easy for us to plug right into those. And we've also helped support some of our customers along that journey as well with the services that we offer.
Yeah, I do think there was one other direct question that we could probably quickly answer, which was specifically language support. So not just in English, which will.
Yes, you're laughing because you're laughing. So what we actually created is an AI that actually that goes within a dictionary of words, and it actually scrapes the look and feel, and it actually does turn it into different languages. As you will see with Mark Shida, we have, I think, Japanese, and there's we have a potential customer that's coming that is going to be in English and Portuguese. So again, those services are like satellites around what the core functionality is, right? But to be able to enhance those user experience and make them more open the aperture, consumable, and whatnot, we also have this set of all the technologies that go around it specifically for localization and locally internalization and localization. We do have an AI engine that actually does the translation for us. That is part of the offerings that we could bring to the table.
There was also a question on just supporting being able to resell things if people are using our platform. So I think that's another good one for you, Will.
Specifically, did you have any specifics? Or if I buy an NFT, how do I resell it?
Yeah, say you. Well, I would say two scenarios. Let's say like they bought one through the compound. If they then wanted to resell it, what are their options?
Yep. So we continue to explore and enhance that experience. All right. So right now, what we've created is an ecosystem. Since the compound has a very specific story and user feel and just look and feel, right? What we've done is we enable that to kind of do the resell within that ecosystem. We also have our own marketplace, right? That we continue to enhance and kind of work through. And then, ultimately, we're currently exploring other options around it. But today, the ability to be able to resell it, we support that. We've created custom technology around that to be able to kind of be a little bit more flexible. But stay tuned, because I think that is part of the white paper that we're kind of bringing to, that we're going to be building, because we want to be able to set and honestly work with Hedera and the community to set us a set of best practices as to how do we best manage those experiences through our platform.
Awesome. And then there was another question. I'll give you the specific question, but I think it may allow us to touch on some other things too, what we're doing with respect to physical and digital and kind of mixing the two. There was a question of, will your platform support interacting with hardware for displaying NFTs on like a picture frame or TV screen? As an example, I think we've kind of been exploring other ancillary things to that. So Will or Kevin, whoever wants to jump in, Will give the technical perspective. Maybe Kevin, you could kind of give a art of the possible answer.
Kevin, I'm going to make it gorpy. So if you want
to, I'll make it less gorpy first. Yeah. So yeah, I think I think that's where we're also at the the tip, if you will, of this market. The ability to interact and explore and showcase your asset, your investment, your art. There are technologies that we've actually already integrated with, but I think that the abilities of what we're seeing, imagine, if you will, the 3D nature of these NFTs, the animation, the ability to change those out. There's a number of technologies that are available. I joke around, this is a personal idea of mine. Imagine, if you will, that Steve Wynn wanted to be the first to have the world's largest NFT in his lobby. How would he actually bring that NFT to life and showcase that along with the gallery of art that he has, showcasing the journey through the art world that we're having? So Steve Wynn, if you're on, feel free to contact me. We'll be happy to hook you up. But I do believe that, yes, there's a number of ways that we're going to see people bringing that to life. And quite honestly, one of the ways that we already do today is just being able to do that on your phone. And the way that we can remove barriers of friction, buying, selling, trading, while it's not there yet today. Imagine, if you will, swiping on your phone and displaying it, selling it, transferring that particular asset, the NFT itself, and have the backend technologies actually map that and guide through the process. Is an incredible opportunity for us to democratize NFTs, if you will, into the space and build the communities that our customers are trying to build. Will, you want to give us some techie stuff?
Yeah, I'll go to the gorpy stuff.
Thanks.
So listen, my perspective, personal perspective, is that I think the technology is there in a plethora of ways, right? Can we display it into a digital frame? Can we display it? We have been personally testing jewelry, right? How do we do that in a jewelry way or in a very mobile way, if you want to say, right? I think the technology is there. I think what I personally want to solve is what's next, right? What does that mean? Sir Isaac Newton told us, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So what is the reaction to that action, right? What is that going to drive? And then ultimately, I personally want to make sure that there is a certain level of security that artists are being protected through this process, right? That all that is taken into consideration. Displaying it, I think, is as an angle. I think the technology today can and will support it. But there's other stuff that I think we would like to kind of continue to grow and expand as this becomes the next commodity, right, of the NFTs.
Awesome. Just being conscientious of time, Brady. Awesome interaction. Thank you to the community for driving the Q&A, driving questions in chat as well. We're doing our best to field those. Again, we're available at info@thebreakouts.com. If you're interested in doing some innovative work, jobs@thebreakouts.com. Follow us at Instagram and on Twitter, and feel free to reach out. We have a team standing by. My name is Kevin Reese, CEO, Will Esclusa, our CTO, Caitlin Esclusa, who drives SVP of platform and strategy. We're individually also happy to connect with people as well on specific topics. With that, Brady, I'm going to turn it back over to you and just confirm that we are good to go.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you so much, Kevin, the entire Breakouts team for joining and talking about your architecture and answering all these great questions that we got from the community today. As Kevin mentioned, there's contact info to reach out to the team if there's any additional questions. Feel free to reach out to the Hedera team through Discord if you have any questions on the Hedera side of things. And very excited to watch the Breakouts continue to progress along your journey, and can't wait to see the future of the platform. So thanks so much
Brady,
again,
and
everyone for joining.
And we appreciate the support of Hedera in the community, and looking forward to all the awesomeness that will bring in the next. It seems like every day we make progress. So I appreciate it, and thank you again for the support.
No doubt. Thank you, guys. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Great day.
Thank you.
Thanks.